So I've been meaning to do an update video, and I haven't obviously for a while. We aren't going to do AO. We are going to switch over to the CMEC. The more I prepped AO, the more disenchanted I was with it. I feel like sometimes there's a lot of readings that wouldn't necessarily be done. It was hard for me to find the things that would be included in Charlotte Mason education, like figuring out the different like notebooks to keep and the supplemental stuff that she did with the lessons and things like that. You can find it in the forums. You can find it on their website. It just took a lot more digging than I wanted. I wanted something that was a little bit more, here's what you're going to do, or here's things to include, because I already have so much that I'm learning about like the different subjects. So Sloyd, I know very little about Sloyd, but I have the books now and I'm starting to learn and go through those. What I don't want to have to do on top of that is also do like, okay, so I need to do this notebook for this, or I need to do this sand tray, or this is how I would include this, or these are the different things. So I'm very thankful that the CMEC kind of includes that and walks you through it. They have like all the articles linked right there. The things are sorted by subjects, but they're also sorted by forms. And looking down the road, while I only have 3 children currently, I realized that Ambleside is very like, this is what you do this year, this is what you do this year, and so on and so forth. And that would become a lot of readings with each of them. Now, as your oldest gets older, they're supposed to take on more of that themselves. But I just realized that it was going to be a lot. And so I like that the CMEC is run by bigger families and understands combining the forms and doing some of that. And AO has come out with AO groups, and so they are trying to like go that way. I just have found that the CMEC has kind of already thought through some of that. I also appreciate that the CMEC has a ton of resources right there. They have videos for certain lessons. They have subject guides. It's a lot. I highly recommend going to the CMEC site and at least requesting the info packet. I also appreciate their Kinderleben program that we've been using in conjunction with our GNC primer. So I kind of just took and meshed the two of them together. While it's not like formal lessons per se, it just gives me a little bit more structure to my day. As I've said in the past, I'm very type A, and so like to me, it's very nice to have that ability to take different aspects of what people used to do with their children growing up and taking what was naturally done and fusing that with a little bit more of a schedule for myself. Because if I don't generally have a schedule, the days just flow by and there may be less intentionality than I would like. And so I think that given what kids would have known before going into Charlotte Mason School in year 1, Charlotte Mason Poetry didn't just have, but they had a great episode about school before age 6, and they had included in that something about what kids knew going in, and I was astounded at what kids would know going into the 1st grade. And that, like those things that they would know would take a lot of intentionality. And so I just want to make sure that I am being intentional with my children as we're going about our days. And so the Kinderleben program and GNC primer and nature have been really helpful in helping me to do that. And so we've been loving all that, using the parts that we like out of each of them. Like we don't do the memory boards that come with GNC primer and nature study, but we do a lot of the readings from GNC primer. We do like the hymns, and we take different pieces from each and just mesh them together. And so I kind of created my own like 12-week schedule of what to do and what each week, and we just generally flow and just check off our boxes as we go. But it's been great as a gentle introduction for me on prepping for school, and for the kids of like gentle introductions to things like solfege, which I am not a singer, and so we've been enjoying like finding different resources for that, which the CMEC has like resources listed out that you can use for certain subjects, and they also sometimes have their own videos that they've created all in their area. Now the CMEC does have the $300 that you put down to buy into the program, and then you have to purchase all your materials separate. They do have a school supply list that they put out then, and you go ahead and you buy your school supplies. And so it's not a cheap program. Like, you can make Ambleside very cheap if you are willing to do an e-reader and use all the public domain books and be very intentional about that. I just think there's a lot more prep with Ambleside Online. Yeah, and so that's why I decided to go with the CMEC. If you have any more questions about it, I'd love to answer them. Obviously, there's more and more coming out about the CMEC just because they've been around for, I don't know, not quite 10 years now. I think they're on program 6 right now, so 6 years. It might be on program 7. I don't know. Anyways, so there's more coming out about them, but it's been a really great thing for us to start being a little bit more intentional in these Kinderleben years, and I look forward to starting formal schooling very soon with my oldest. So yeah, hopefully you have a great day, and hopefully this video is helpful as to like some of the differences. But it's hard with the CMEC because they want things behind their paywall, and so you have to go and request the info packet from them to get more of the views of what is behind the paywall. But let me tell you, it is 100% worth it if you are kind of a perfectionist like me and you just need someone to hold your hand just a little more, and you don't want to spend all your time like trying to research all the things. So it has been absolutely worth it. And even if you just did it for 1 year just to kind of get your feelers and used it as a guide to cut out some of your research, that might even be worth it. That was what I was intending to do with it originally, was to stick with Ambleside, but use the CMEC to kind of help hold my hand with finding like the notebooks we needed, the things of the CM education. And so you could do it that way, but once we did that, I fell in love with it, and here we are. We're not going back, I don't think. No, I'm like pretty sold on this program. It's awesome. So have a good day.